Okay, now we are on our demo. Um, Last session we had an introduction to databases, and I believe we ended with the part where we exported our table or our data set as CSV file. Okay, so for example, if this is your existing data set in your database and you want to export it, again, you just go to file and then export. So what we want right now is as a CSV file. So if you haven't done it yet last time, um, you have to export it as a CSV file first. And then we have some parameters here. Just leave it or just ignore it in the meantime. And then save and choose the location. Where do you want to save your CSV file? Okay. So last time I exported mine, the one that I demoed in session 2. This is the generated or the exported CSV file. Okay, so I'm not going to export again, as this could duplicate the file, right? So right now, if I open this file, test data 2, um, okay, test data 2. So as a CSV file, okay, this is the Excel version. Test data 2, right? So the CSV file looks like this one if you open it via Microsoft Excel. But if you're going to open it via Notepad, let's try. Okay, it's not by default. But actually you can also open it um yes, via Notepad. So just once, just for now. Okay, so this is what our CSV data actually looks like, right? So CSV stands for comma separated value. Okay, the values, as you can see, are separated by commas. Okay, meaning they are once you see the comma, it will be the next data will be stored in another cell or in the next cell, right? And like what you have here, so these data are separated by comma. Actually, if we're going to open the actual CSV file in um um in places like Notepad, okay? But in if you are going to open it in Excel by default, compute the computer or Windows computers open it by in default by Excel or sorry, open it by default in Excel. All right. So again, if you didn't get it, I'll close it again, and I'll double click this. As you can see, the default app is Excel. Okay. So if not, you can simply right click and then open with and then choose Excel, or you can choose Notepad if you want. Right? So now we have the data set and we want to modify it first, or especially if you want to perform some data analysis. Okay, so that's our topic for tonight, by the way. And if this is a CSV file, most likely, or there's a big chance that whatever formatting I do here will be disregarded once I close the file. Okay, so what we're going to do is to save this as an Excel file instead. Okay, so Excel workbook and then save. So it depends on your location. Of course, I'm not going to do that because it will overwrite my existing file. So once I save this as an Excel file, it will look like this. Oh, not that one yet. Okay, so once I save that, it will become like this, right? And now you want to do some formatting, some maybe some organizing before we perform some data analysis techniques. Okay, or basic only, right? So once we have this table, okay, this data set actually um doesn't look nice. So it's very bare or very scratch, very scratch. It looks like a raw table. Okay, so we want something like this one. Okay, and to do that, we just select the table or the entire data set. Um, Shortcut, you can do this, you can drag, but if you don't want, if you have a very long data set, then might as well you can use this one. Click the very first cell and then hold Control Shift and then right to highlight everything within the row. Okay, so Control Shift right, and after that Control Shift down, okay, to select everything downwards. Of course, there are other ways to do this, but you can, if you don't know yet, then you can try this one. Control Shift R, I mean Control Shift right arrow key, and then Control Shift down arrow key. Okay, so but you can also manually drag the entire data set if you want. All right. Now I already have this one. It's already highlighted, so now I can insert a table. Just go to insert and then look for a table. So in an instant, in one click, you now have your, okay, two clicks. You now have, because it asks for your confirmation if the range is correct. Okay, so by the way, if you included the headers, the first row, then you must tick this part. Okay, my table has headers. Okay, and then okay. As you can see, the first row will be identified as a header and it will have filters. Okay, it will have a filter button. Okay. Um, okay, now the table is more presentable. A little bit of design. And as you can see, there are some rows or columns with values having this um series of pound sign or number signs. Okay, same thing here and same thing here. That's mainly because the the values can't fit within the um within the size of our cell, or especially within the width of our columns. Okay, so to do to instantly resize our columns, just highlight all the columns. Okay, so from A to K, and then select any of the cells, any of these division between columns. And once this black cross appears, you just double click and instantly everything will be automatically adjusted. Right? So as you can see there, we no longer have a series of pound signs within our table. Okay. By the way, this is dummy data. That's why it's better if you have collected actual or some kind of realistic data. Because mine is auto-generated using ChatGPT, so it's not that nice actually. And you'll see later why. Okay. So once we have this table, we can actually sort things out like from A to Z or Z to A, or we can sort according to email addresses, according to their service type, okay? A to Z or Z to A. Okay, let's have an example. From department, let's sort the departments, or let's sort the entire table in terms of department. So I'll choose A to Z. As you can see, the first one that appears is the finance department. So everything, all the feedback for the finance department are shown first, and then followed by the HR, the IT or engineering, marketing, operations, R&D. We only have one R&D, and then we have sales, That's the last one, saves. Okay. If you don't want that, of course, you can undo. Um, let's see. We want to see which one. We want to arrange the table in terms of highest fee. Okay. So highest fee. Um, uh, let's say smallest to largest or largest to smallest. So from the highest to lowest, largest to smallest. Okay. I select this. And as you can see, the highest is 2,000. Okay. And then the lowest is, okay, 100 pesos. Okay. Another thing, if you want to arrange in terms of timestamp, okay, you just go here and then oldest to newest or newest to oldest. Let's say I want to see the most recent. Okay. So the most recent and then the oldest. Right. So that's instant. Okay. That's one nice thing about Excel. We can do things like this. By the way, that's called sorting. Another thing that we want that we can do in Excel with our data set is what we call filtering. So we can filter out anything that we don't like, we don't like to see or we want to hide. For example, I want to see only everything that is from um, okay, it's already arranged from the most recent up to the oldest, but I only want to see feedback from let's say marketing. Okay, so I uncheck first everything, and if I only want to see marketing, sorry, then just tick marketing and okay, click okay. So also, you can tick multiple options like I want to see marketing, sales, and then finance because they are all somewhat related or directly related. Okay, and then I'll just tick them and then tick OK. As you can see, everything that we can see here is only from marketing, finance, and sales. Sorry. All right. So if you have attended our second session, this is somewhat similar to querying or making SQL SQL queries in our database. Okay, so this is okay if we are have dealing with a small data set and we have only a few tables. But when it comes to large data sets and numerous tables, then that's the time that database is better. Okay, it's better to do it with databases, right? In short, for basic and small data sets, basic analysis and small data sets involved, we can do it in Excel, right? But if we are having multiple tables and large data sets and we want to perform advanced analysis, then we can use a database or we can use Python programming or maybe R programming or some other advanced tools. Okay? So for basic ones, actually Excel will do, right? So if you're afraid that you don't understand databases, you have no coding background, then no problem because we can do it in Excel. And as you can see, it's very easy. Okay, as simple as clicking things, right? So if I want to see them all again, just select all and okay. If I don't want to see everything, I just unclick everything. But Excel doesn't want that. Right? I only want to see R&D, for example. So as you can see, we only have R&D. Okay. You can do that also in other columns. Like I want to see only okay. Based on this, I have these options. Okay, these are the values that come out in our entire data set. Okay, I want to see everything that has a zero point 0.5 duration or let's say a 1 only. Okay, 0.5 or 1 R. So I uncheck the two one the 1.5 and 13. Okay. So as you can see, everything here is either 1 or 0.5 only. 1 R or 0.5 Rs. Right? So again, that's filtering, and that's one of the best things about Excel, especially for beginners and um non-programmers. Okay, so you can actually do some basic data organizing or data management using Excel. Okay, so that's the best. I think one of the most important things that you must know about Excel. Of course, we have some formula, but we're not going to talk about Excel formula. Right now, what I want, because we are dealing with analysis, this is our example. We want to do something like this. We want to plot, we want to generate column chart, a column chart, a histogram, um, column chart for the ratings, just to see, um, we just want to see how many, um, we want just to see how many 5, 4, 3, or even 2 that we got from the ratings. Okay. And we want to see the histogram or the distribution of the fees. All right. But because of dummy data, as you can see, my data is not well spread. But if you have actual data, I believe you can have a better result. Okay. We can also use a pie chart to see which department has the biggest share in terms of feedback, which one has most feedback. Okay, in this case, we got most feedback in the marketing department and so on. Okay, and actually unlike most other charts, in pie charts, we have to do something else. Okay, we're going to show that in a while. Also, we want to do some descriptive statistics. Okay, in just a few clicks, we can generate the mean, standard error, median, mode, standard deviation, and so on. Okay, so first let's start with the line chart. I mean column chart. So let's go back to our new data, the data set. I mean newly converted data set. Right. So the rating here, the rating column. Okay, as you can see, it's mixed up. It's unsorted. So since we have this filter, okay, if we do this unfiltered and we directly plot this, we end up getting the same chart. Okay. Okay, and let me show it. Okay, first you need to highlight, starting with the header, or maybe in the first value, but better include the header. Let's include the header from the header. Hold Control Shift and then down, and then go to Insert tab and select the type of chart you want to generate. So in this case, we want a column chart, right? So as you can see, before you can even select, Excel already uh, gives you a glimpse of it. Okay? All right. So we have so many options and it's better for you to explore them. Take time to explore these different options. But for now, what we're going to try is the column chart. Okay, so we select the default, the first one. Okay, and then we can feel free to move it um anywhere you please. All right. You can also copy this and paste it in your Word file or even in your PowerPoint or even in your Canva, right? So also you can go to chart design tab, okay? Whenever you click the chart design tab will automatically add here, okay, or appear here. And you can select different styles for your chart, okay? You can even change the colors, If you want some other colors, or maybe you want this one. Okay, you can also resize by the way if you want. Okay, but it doesn't make sense for as of now because it's not arranged. Okay, so maybe we can do this. Um, um, select again from the top and then control shift down and insert. Wait, we're going to sort first. Okay, so let's sort. Smallest, let's say largest to smallest. Okay, so we sorted our table right now in terms of rating. So from highest to lowest. Okay, again, let's select this one and we can see our chart now looks better. Okay, it makes more sense. All right. By the way, the rating is categorical data. It's not numerical data because it's like a scale. It's a Likert type of data. That's why it's categorical. Specifically, it's an ordinal type of categorical data. So it's not really numerical. That's why we cannot perform things like correlation using this. Okay, it's ordinal data, and that's why we cannot perform again numerical or we cannot treat this as a numerical data. Okay, so right now it makes more sense. We can see, okay, we have a lot of fives, we have a lot of fours, um, a, a slightly fewer threes, and a lot of twos also. Okay, so now maybe we can see what does it look like um if we want to see the pie chart version. Okay, in pie chart version we have to um get all the possible values first. Okay, I'm not sure if for sure there are shorter ways to do this, but I'm going to show one of the ways. First we need to get all the unique values. So just type equals and then unique. It will appear here. You can double click it here or just simply type unique and open parenthesis. And we are asked for the array. We are looking for the unique values from here up to here. So this array or this range. And then by column, I believe this is yes or true. We are asked true or false. So it is a column, so true. And then exactly once. Okay, so true also. Or actually, you can leave it blank. Let's try to leave it blank. Okay, once we have highlighted our array, then let's try if we can enter this. Okay, so here, so meaning in this entire range, we only have these unique values 5, 4, 3, and 2. So now we want to count how many fives did we get, how many fours, how many threes, and twos. So now we have this formula count if. Okay, again, there are many other ways to do this, but this is one of the simple ways to or simple approaches. Okay, so count if, okay, and then we select the range. Okay, this is the range that we want to count on. Um, so from this one, Control Shift down, okay, to select everything downwards. And then what we want to see is criteria. So what do we want to count? In this case, we want to count all the fives. Okay, so we click this one and then enter. Okay, so for this data set, this specific column, we have 34 fives. Okay, if you want to count everything, then you'll see that we have 34 fives. And then we can just drag it down, I guess. Right? So why? Because it will just copy this formula, and this time it's the red one is 4. Okay, so we're counting the fours here, and then next we're counting all the threes, and last one we're counting all the twos. So to double check if this is correct, you can click highlight these numbers and then click the sigma symbol or the auto sum. Okay, as you can see, it's 101. So why 101? Because from row 2, we have data until 102. So we only subtract the first row. Okay, so 102 minus 1. All in all, we have 101 data points for each variable or each column. Right? So all in all, our data points is 101. Right? And that means this is correct. So now to come up with a pie chart, we highlight these values. Okay? And then go to Insert tab and select a pie chart that you want. Okay? So as you can see, the pie chart now appears, and you can rename it if you want. Let's say ratings share. Okay? So as you can see, this one, you can select other versions of your pie chart, by the way. Okay, I believe this one's better. Right? Or the one with, okay, this one is very visible. Okay, so the dark blue one is 36%. That's for, okay. We can change this data set, by the way. Just right click and then select data. We want to edit this one. Um, Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, we go to this one. Let's see if we got it right. Right. So we have 36% is 5, 29% is 4, 21% is 3, and 14% is 2. So I'm not sure if this is correct. Maybe this is reverse. Right. Okay. 34. Okay, just it's up to you to double check. In the meantime, that's a way to um get categorical or to represent categorical data. Yeah. So we can, even though they are categorical, we can still represent them with a chart using their frequency or their count. So to understand more, let's say we want to see the counts of our department. We want to see which department or how many percent did each department get, just like this one. Okay, so we have to do this. We need to list down all the departments, and just like what we did earlier, um, okay, let's go here. We use the unique formula and then just select an array. Select this one from marketing and then downward, enter. As you can see, we have the unique values already. These are our departments. You can select the column and double click to adjust the width. And then now we use also the count if formula, and then we have the range. So um, count if, okay, so here we want to count the how many did each department appear in our data set. Okay, and then we count if it is marketing. Okay, so as you can see, we have 22 marketing, and then I'll just drag it downward. Okay, because it automatically adjusts to the next row. Okay, so for finance, we have 14, IT 14 also. Double check. It should be 101 all in all. Right, and as you can see, it's 101. I just highlight this to indicate that it's the sum or the sum of this. Right, so just highlight and then click the sigma or auto sum button. Okay, so now that we have this count or the frequency, this is actually called a frequency table. So once we have the frequency table, we can now um, go to insert tab and generate our pie chart. Okay, so this time we rename this as our department share. Okay, and also you can select any style that you want. Okay, better to have some percentage like that with this one, right? So what else? Um, what did we do here? Also we have a histogram. Okay, let's try to generate a histogram. So histogram, that's for usually we do that for summarizing our numerical data only. Okay. By the way, we have an outlier here. In my example, I just changed it to 1 to 50 and then I I changed this to okay, this one 2 a.m. so that you can have 2 hours only. And then 1 to 50 to simplify that, right? So I just manually edited this just for demonstration purposes. Okay. Now when we want to summarize the fees that we have collected. Okay. So for the fees, just highlight the entire column and then up highlight. Okay, what happened? Okay, my cursor is appears to malfunction. All right. So all the fees or the entire fee data set, and then go to insert tab, and then we choose histogram, right? And then select, right? So this is our histogram for our fees to represent our fees. Okay, you can move it anywhere you want, like here. You can even paste it in your other files. Okay, and that's for data visualization. Okay. Now for what do you call this? Descriptive stat. Okay, don't worry. It is very easy. Before you can do that, make sure that in your data tab, you have this one, data analysis. If you don't have yet, just go to file, look for options. Okay, we have the options here below, options. And when this thing pops up, go to add-ins. And now here we click go instead of okay. We click go, right? So make sure you check these two or at least the first one, analysis tool pack. Okay, better to check this one also. Maybe soon you're going to use more advanced analysis. So better to check or tick both. Okay, and click OK. And once you go to the data tab, data analysis should appear somewhere here on the rightmost part. Okay, within the analysis section. Okay, so once you have the data analysis tool here, just click that. And then look, okay, as you can see, we have a lot of statistical tools that we can use for data analysis. For now, since we are talking about EDA or exploratory data analysis, and therefore we are focused on descriptive stat only for beginners, then we select descriptive stat and click OK. Okay, once we have this, we select our input range. So what do we want to summarize? Okay, so it's up to you. What do you want to summarize? What do you have? what numerical variable do you want to have descriptive statistics on? Okay, so in my case, I want to have a descriptive stat of all the ratings first. Okay, let's start with the ratings. So just select the entire data set. Oh, just again, okay, stupid. Sorry. Um, my cursor is currently malfunctioning, so please bear with me. Um, okay, so just select the entire data set. Okay, so Control Shift down. And as you can see, we are grouping, our data set is grouped in terms of column. Okay, you can actually select multiple rows, multiple numerical and ordinal columns. Okay, and then if we included the header, then you should tick this box. Okay, since I didn't include, I'll adjust my input here, so I should start with 1. Okay, so that it will be included. Right. Okay, I'll just repeat. It's messed up. Okay, I'll just select again, starting with the header, and then Control Shift down. Right. Okay, so I included header. That's why I should tick. This one should be checked. Okay. Now for the output range, where do I want to display, or where do I want my results to appear? So I just remove the existing ones, and then select if you want to create a new workbook or new worksheet for the results, then you can do so. But if you want it to appear to the same worksheet, then just select any empty portion of your worksheet. Okay, so in this case, I selected this part. I want the results to appear here. So I select this cell. And then don't forget to tick summary statistics. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. And as you can see, instantly we have the results. Okay, so that's for the rating. And you can do the same for, let's say, the duration and then the fee. Okay, let's start with the fee. So same process, just go to data analysis. All right, and then select descriptive stat. And then here, just clear the input range to be sure. Okay, and select a new one. Okay, so right now we want to create the summary for the fees. Okay, so select including the header, Control Shift down, and then still columns, and then still the same. Now the output should be different because otherwise it would overwrite the earlier one that we did. Okay, so we now look for another location. Let's say we want it to appear here. So just click again, make sure summary statistics is ticked, and then click OK. All right, as you can see, we now have the results. Okay, sorry. My cursor malfunction. Maybe it's kind of dirty because of my fingerprint, my messy. All right, sorry for that. Okay, now we have the descriptive stat for this. We have the mean, we have the standard deviation, and so on. If you want to go to advanced statistics, you can see the kurtosis and skewness, especially when you want to analyze the distribution of your data set. But that is quite advanced already for our session. So again, you can do the same for the other numerical values, especially the duration. Okay, you cannot do that in your time and start time and end time because for now it's considered as a text. Okay, and you cannot um perform descriptive stat on that. Right. So for now, I hope you got this one. Okay, you can do a lot more actually, and we don't have enough time to explain everything. Um, you can even do a backsplat, but before you can do a backsplat, you have to, for example, I want to see the rating for each department. So I'm going to select this, copy, and then paste it somewhere here. Okay, and before doing that, I have to arrange this. Okay, I don't have the filter anymore, so because it's outside my table. But just go to data and then select the header, and we have a filter button here. So just and now we can filter. So I want to arrange in terms of or sort in terms of department. So it's now sorted. And we want each department to have a column. So again, to make it fast, I just copy finance, HR. Okay, let's say we just need to compare for the sake of time, just compare the three um I think 15. Okay, we just compare the first three departments. So we just copy their respective ratings. Okay, just copy for HR and then for engineering. Okay, so we can actually perform ANOVA, yeah, analysis of variance, but that's kind of advanced already. But for now, we just do something like this. We generate the box plot. Okay, so given this, let's highlight everything and go to insert. So backsplat is not among the default or the um, top choices in the charts. So um, to look for the backsplat, just click this one, right? So we can see all charts. And in this list, we have the box and whisker. So that's the box and whisker plot, right? And you can perform data analysis here. Okay. So as you can see, the median, as mentioned in our discussion, the median for the um, finance and HR are almost the same, but their mean differ. Okay. So also we have in IT engineering, we have a quite different shape of distribution. Okay, so we cannot expand further or expound further on the analysis techniques, but at least now you see simple ways to visualize your data. Okay, that's what matters most. And again, as simple as Excel, you can now come up with these presentations. Okay, so that we can use it for performing um, problem solving techniques like design thinking. Okay, so you can use it to analyze your data. You can observe, and it's up to you, right? So there are so many things to discuss regarding how to analyze data, and we cannot um um mention them all. Okay, that's quite advanced. And once we're done with here, you can now um explore Google Colab as promised. Okay, so to go to Google Colab, let's open a browser. Okay, and then you can type Google Colab here, or you can type colab.research.google.com. Okay, so once you enter that, you're going to okay, immediately you'll be asked to create a new workbook, or you can open an existing one. Okay, so in your case, if you're doing it for the first time, you click new notebook, and when we do so, a new notebook will be created. And let's just wait for a while. All right, so this is our new Google Colab notebook, right? This is where we can um, generate our or test our data or analyze our data using Python programming. Okay. Why Google Colab? One advantage for this is you can instantly save it in your drive and you don't need to install anything. You can run Python programs. You can perform data analysis without installing anything. Okay, especially for non-programmers, this is a very helpful uh, tool to start with, right? So to save time, because um we've talked a lot already. Sorry for that. Um, let's just talk about this example that I made. I prepared earlier. Okay, I have codes already. I'll share this code with you so that you can um explore your own. Okay, so first, okay, these boxes are called cells. Okay, and the cell could be code or a text. So you can make some discussions here. You can put some narratives. For example, here, um, I want to say um, in this part, we upload our uh, CSV dataset. Okay. So once we close this, we have now the text part. Okay. You can also add here another text. Just select a cell and then once you click text, a new cell will be created after that. Okay. So I believe in this part, or let's change the approach. Now we perform um, basic numerical and categorical summary. Okay. So as simple as that, you can add more, you can type anything that you want to further improve your presentation. Okay. So things like that. Right. So now going back here, again, good thing about Google Colab is I don't need to install anything. But of course, this is online, so I need internet connection to make use of it. Okay, so we have this play button if you want to run the code. So let's start with the first one. Okay, we know that this part has not been run yet because we don't have a check icon here. So I'll click run, and since if you have noticed earlier, I had been disconnected from the runtime. Runtime is where our is being compiled. Okay, so let's wait for a little while. And oh, okay. So we now have the result, but as you can see, it's still in progress because it's waiting for us to upload our file. Okay, so we click this button and then we look for our file. In my case, I want to analyze my CSV, comma separated value file. So this one. Okay, double click or no, select and enter or click open. Okay, right now it stopped moving. And we now have the check icon here because we successfully uploaded our CSV file. Okay, and take note of the name of your file because you have to change that in the next one. Okay, so whatever the name of your file, you have to rename it here. You have to follow it here. Okay, so in my case, it's named test data 2, so that's why the name here is test data 2. Because in this part, we are using the library called pandas to present our data set. Okay, present in a tabular form. Right, so when I click this, you'll see it's not running. What's the problem? Right. Huh. Oh, I see. So earlier I tested this sample code. Earlier I already created my test data or I already imported my test data CSV. That's why it's now um having a conflict with it. Um s- and when we uploaded our data set, it has been named as test data 2 space and then 1. So let's just follow that, right? Space 1 and let's see. Okay, we now have this one. And since we have a quite long table, it has been summarized in terms of I think, 3 to 4 columns. Okay, so the first 3 columns are here, and Colab only showed um, 1 to 4, and then proceeded with the last 5. Okay, same thing here. So for the next 3 or 4 columns, and then the last 4 columns. Okay, so that's for the second cell. That's what this code did. It just basically presented what the CSV file contains. Okay, and now we perform basic numerical and categorical summary. That's why we have this code. Um, First part, we have the numerical summary, and then the second part, we have categorical summary. I'll check if it's recording. Okay. So, and lastly, we have specific metrics. Okay, we change, if you can remember in when we uploaded our CSV, which one is our CSV? Okay, let me show you our CSV. So this is our CSV file. Okay, I renamed that column as fee. So meaning I have to rename this part as fee only. Okay. Um, and I believe this will work. Let's see. All right. So first print, we have the numerical summary and then our descriptive stat of our table. Uh, Okay, so everything that is in numerical form, which are rating, the fee, and the duration. So although our rating is not actually uh, numerical data, it has been considered numerical because it's in ordinal form. Okay, so at least we can see the summary only, but we cannot do things like correlation and regression with our ordinal data. Okay. And then we have the categorical data like the number of email addresses we received, number of unique timestamps, unique email addresses, unique departments, unique service types, and so on. Okay. And some other special features that we want to be summarized. Okay, and here we specifically defined in our code that we want the median. Okay, it's in our code. We want to see the median of our fee column. Okay, so that's the last part. We can specify actually specific metrics that we want. So in this case, the median is 1,000. Okay, according to our analysis using Python and with the help of Pandas library. Okay, so that's for the summary part. Now here, I believe we have in this case, we have the visualization already. And I'll just check. So this time I'll change this one. Okay, it's just a text, so I think no need to change. Okay, let's run this one. And you see, okay, I have to check. I have to change that. Yes. Right. Okay, it's not a text. It's not just a text. All right, let's try again. Okay, so I was right in the first place. Now we have the box plot, and now we can better compare our data set with the help of our some knowledge in statistics. Unfortunately, we cannot cover statistics in this session. Okay. Um, and then on the next part, we have here some other things like, okay, let's see, we don't have anything to change, I guess. No, I was wrong. Okay, these things. Okay, the rating is now just rating, so no more 1 to 5. Number, mhm, okay. The, oh, it's just a label, so I don't think we need to change that. Okay, this one. Right. The column. So I changed this column into just rating. So rating. Okay, I renamed the columns to shorten them. Okay, and let's see. All right, now it works. So we have the column charts for the frequency of our service ratings. Okay, we have some two, three, four, five. Okay. Um, the the visualization is kind of messed up because of some, I think, some configurations in my Colab settings, right? Anyway, we also have this part. I think this is service. Okay, service type. Okay, let's try. It's also right because I changed service type service type as no space. Okay, just to have one word. Okay, now at least I've shown you how to uh, do basic troubleshooting. Right. Now these are our service requests, different types. Or R&D, we only have one. Marketing, we have a lot of requests, services types, and so on. Okay, in sales, we had the most one we had is maintenance, and so on. Okay, um, and lastly, we have JSON. All right. So we can skip this part because we didn't discuss much about JSON also in our discussion. For now, you can feel free to explore. You can generate your code actually using AI, or at least you can simply um type in um Google Colab descriptive stat and actually statistics. And actually, you can see some sample codes here. I like whenever you see Google Colab, you can explore that. Okay, as you can see, we have instant codes here that we can use to explore more on our data analysis part. Okay, so that's all we have for now. For our limited time, I believe we have uh, overtime already. Uh, Sorry for taking it too long, but I really appreciate if you have stayed until up to this point. Um, I really hope you have learned something despite the very short presentation. Still very short. I mean, despite the lack of time, right? There's a lot. I want to share a lot, and we just got so little time. But I hope you have learned something. And thank you, everyone, and see you in the next part.